Hi,
Hi,
I'm Nick.
I'm Joe, and we're HipStrings.
And welcome back for our rest day where you get to rest and we don't.
Yep, exactly.
This is actually the way I've been doing Tour de Fleece.
Inverse Tour de Fleece?
I'm doing inverse Tour de Fleece. So how many more not rest days do I
This
have?
is the last rest day. There's only 2 rest days.
Oh, okay. So I've got, I'm doing speed mode Tour de Fleece.
Because I think it ends this Saturday. Which means I've got a lot more spinning to do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically so do I.
Well, there's some in here that is not, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 bats to finish up.
Wow. Well, I guess we should be doing more of this. I'm looking at our streaming. You guys will have to let us know how the video quality is because it's looking super juddery as I'm seeing the preview, but I have no idea if
Do we
that's a
need
problem with
to
our preview.
send a message to the kids
I've
again?
already pre-instructed to the children that
No internet after 9.
no internet after 9. Yeah, it's YouTube's complaining again. Nick, are you on the beer? I am drinking beer, yes. I am. Oh, is the character itself me on the beer? No, it is a Hurricane Spin by Pixelated IPA. It is the attempt to copyright infringe on Legend of Zelda without quite copyright infringement. It's a really good beer, but I will admit that they
got you with the label.
They got me with the label. I'm a sucker for indie craft beer labels, especially when they hit some of my other hobbies. You know, there's no knitting beers or spinning beers.
We should fix that.
I mean, I guess
or somebody needs to let us know if there is.
Hey, you know what I should have said?
What?
Yes, I'm drinking the Hurricane Spin beer.
Yeah.
For the spinning podcast. No?
Yes.
Just, okay.
I'm going to try to have good posture.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's always a good idea, regardless of...
Yeah, but I can't...
You can't spin with good posture?
This couch is a little low for this wheel for good posture, so I'm just going to, treadle with the sides of my feet.
There we go.
Instead of like a normal person.
So maybe we should talk a little as YouTube tries to get its act together, and maybe our internet tries to get its act together. Maybe we should talk a little bit about what we've been doing in the past. What? It's only been 2 weeks?
No, a week.
Just 1 week.
Just 1 week.
All right. It's only been a week. So what have we done in that week?
I spun another bobbin.
Already?
Yeah, so I've got
of this
2 bobbins.
Set?
Yes, of this. So I'm hoping after tonight I will have enough to do some intermediate plying. But I need to ply up my samples of Odin and Nymph for before the weekend, because there will be a shop update on Friday. Because it is also SSK Virtual Marketplace this Saturday. So they'll be putting up a video.
And we just recorded that video last night.
Yeah. No.
No, not last night. I edited the video last night.
Yeah.
We recorded the video 2 nights ago. This is like the whole week of HipStrings stuff for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and we are joined by several others. Welcome. Colonel Crafter saying the video is looking for fun. Yes, Colonel Crafter / Eve is saying the video looks fine for her, so good.
It's making it over the Atlantic just fine.
Excellent. So that means the kids are not on the interwebs. And she is also lamenting that she has no alcohol in the house. Well, you should have prepared for this. Or not, depending on whether or not you enjoy alcohol. And we have Cindy McBride, who is spinning warm woolen mittens, and her first time spinning from the fold.
Oh, yes. Warm woolen mittens is a good one to spin from the fold. And
spinning from the fold is fun. I mean, it's... I always find that I have to take much smaller sections in order to do so.
It makes you really good at doing joints.
Yes, that it does. So good luck. And let us know if you have any issues. We can provide real-time feedback.
And I'm still upset that the mill stopped dyeing Corriedale in the colors that I need for warm woolen mittens.
Well, you're just gonna have to make version number 4.
I'm debating. I need to check something. They came out with a whole bunch of new colors of mulberry silk, and I'm wondering if now I have the things to do to go back and do another merino silk in the warm woolen mittens colors. I've got to do a new merino silk colorway. So, if you've got ideas or requests, I'm debating whether or not to kind of redo some previous blends or come up with something completely new. Because like Peacocky hasn't been around for a while. I was thinking about tweaking Peacocky or just bringing back Peacocky. I was also thinking about bringing back Mantis. Other ideas.
Well, you should talk about the new fibers that, I don't think we've talked about that. Your Odin and
I thought I talked about Odin and
Hail
Nymph
Satin.
last time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I thought I brought them down. Anyways, there's going to be 2 new merino Shetland silk blends coming. Both in kind of the blue family. Odin is deep, dark blue and blue-green.
I mean, it's almost black.
It's almost black. It's like a bluish-green version of Kalic. And then Nymph is a pale kind of tan with a hint of teal.
Let's see. We have Kathleen Fry has mentioned that she just realized that her lavender cider actually matches the yarn she's playing.
I want lavender cider.
That sounds amazing.
Please tell me where you got the lavender cider.
I think we're going to have to design our own recipe as well. But yes, if it's something we could acquire, even better. And then Cornwall Crafter / Eve notes that she forgot she does like Koppelberg cider. And asking if we get that. We do not get
what
that
is Koppelberg?
Here. I'm assuming it's a location. It sounds like a location.
I don't know. Well, you got, what was that grape that you got in North Carolina?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember.
It wasn't snozzberry, but it was like...
it sounded like snozzberry.
It was
and
like
it tasted
snoggle.
like snozzberry.
Yeah.
The snozzberries taste like snozzberry.
It was some special North Carolina grape.
Which was really just a grape. It tasted like grape juice, but it tastes like a really thick, weird grape juice. Also, Cornwall Crafter / Eve just noticed your crown.
Yeah.
Do you have a comment on your crown?
No, I just need to feel special today.
So I will say...
Because I went to the dentist.
And you need to feel special.
Yes.
Santa, was it?
What?
Brought us crowns?
Santa brought everybody crowns.
So this past year, Santa brought everybody crowns in the family because it was a hard year.
And I think Santa needs to continue this.
Well, I don't think we need new crowns every year, do we?
Well, maybe I do.
But, yeah, so I think this was actually quite a nice tradition because a nice crown, I even have one. Jill told me I shouldn't wear mine today.
I didn't tell you should. I just didn't tell you should.
I did ask, should I go grab mine? You said no.
No, I didn't say no.
Okay, anyway.
You said, do I need to go grab mine?
Yes. Okay, I apologize.
And I said no.
I should have done. Anyways.
Needs versus wants.
Yes, we're trying to teach our children that as well. Anyways, what I was trying to get to is the fact that having a nice... splurge a little bit instead of the paper crown, get like the $10 crown, and having a nice crown around to make sure you feel special on those hard days is really worth it.
Costume crowns are not expensive.
They're so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry, I've been ignoring the comments. So Kathleen Fry, we're back on the
cider?
On the cider train. Kathleen Fry says Teton cider works. It's in Washington State, and I'm in New Mexico. I don't know how far they distribute.
That seems a bit far.
Yeah. Plus, with anything, any canned alcoholic beverage tends to not age well when it travels.
Yeah.
Cider is a little bit better than beers, but...
Yeah, but I can't do preservatives, so the ones that can travel give me headaches, so...
Yeah. And then Cornwall Crafter / Eve. I'm apparently drinking too much too fast. Notes that the cider, which I already forgot, the Koppelberg cider, is a Swedish fruit cider. Tastes like Ribena, which now is going to bring the question: what is Ribena?
We need to be schooled by the Europeans.
Yes, well, carbonated alcoholic beverages came from over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of come from everywhere.
True.
Humans always make them.
Yeah. But the ones we're most used to drinking now.
Yeah.
In the U.S. All right. Enough of that. I'm going to take an excuse to take a sip and check my where I am. Okay, I'm over there. All right. So, what else is new?
I don't know. You were feeling like a real person last week, so...
Yeah. No, we already talked about my bacterial infection.
Yep.
See if people remember to take a drink. I'm off the antibiotics, and then like 2 days later, got a wonderful sunburn. And I use that term sarcastically. So maybe I still had some leftover impact from the doxycycline.
Or we've just started spending morning time at the pool than we used to.
Or I just forgot to ask you to put sunscreen on my back, and I got everywhere else. But
yeah, getting your own back is tough.
Yeah. All right, we finally got the answer we're waiting for. Sir Cornwall Crafter / Eve says Ribena is a black currant squash. Concentrated juice you add water to, pronounced Ribena.
Ribena. Blackcurrant squash.
This sounds like an alien fruit.
Yeah. I wonder if it's something like creme de, like cassis type of flavor. Because that's blackcurrant. But that's a liqueur.
Yeah.
That would be a good cider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this is a spinning podcast, not a cider podcast. So we're not going to go into our recipes for homebrew. Although I guess we could if we wanted to do another podcast.
Speaking there are plenty of
homebrew podcasts.
No, spinners that homebrew.
True.
There's crossover. Okay, I need to not sit like that anymore. Or treadle like that. Treadling on the sides of your feet is not good for your hips or back.
You want to talk ergonomics since it's a rest day?
No.
And you've
I should be sitting in a higher chair.
Yeah.
This is one. Most of my other wheels, I don't really care so much about what I'm sitting in. My Jensen, it matters, and this Louette, it matters.
Why is that?
And nothing seems to work spinning from the one couch that we used to have down in the basement. But we don't have that couch anymore, so...
We took circular saws to it, and it is no more.
I think this one's just the treadles are higher off the ground.
Yeah, I am noticing as I was looking down.
And we have a lot of IKEA furniture, which is fairly low. But you would think the wheel from the Netherlands would go well with IKEA furniture. Compared to like the American made and the New Zealand made wheels.
All right, so I've got a multi-part question.
Okay.
Has IKEA ever come out with a wheel?
I don't think so.
And then if not, can we make a wheel out of IKEA parts?
Probably could. Is that a challenge?
I think it's a challenge. I think it definitely is something that belongs on the.
I mean, when the Shocked
IKEA
Flat
Hacks
Iron
website.
came out, a lot of people said, "Well, that's what
That's what
If
IKEA would have made. Yeah.
if IKEA made a wheel, it'd be the flat iron." Which the flat iron is a great wheel. So.
No, but no, it's making me think of like, the IKEA bike, where they don't actually make a bike, but people have figured out how to 3D print a couple of extra parts and
they make balance bikes for kids from IKEA parts.
So there's a website, IKEA Hacks, that has a bunch of these things, and now I really want to go check if IKEA Hacks has a spinning wheel, and if not,
why not?
I think I know something that I need to do next time we go to IKEA and figure out, can I make a spinning wheel out of IKEA parts?
I mean, there's Lazy Susans. There's...
Yeah. I mean, it probably won't be a very effective spinning wheel.
I'm sure the internet will love you for it.
Yes.
And isn't that the entire goal of life these days?
That is the goal.
Is to make the internet love you.
Fake internet points is exactly what we take away with us when we die. Right? You can't take it with you unless they're fake internet points, and those are the ones you can.
And something new to add to gravestones. An up-to-date counter for likes.
No, you have a gravestone with like the title of your highest rated Reddit post. Right? This one got 300 upvotes.
Your best Instagram post.
God. I've got to get a better post. I don't get something embarrassing on my gravestone. Catching up on comments. Hollis and Struve says, hello from Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. Hello.
I want to be in Hot Springs.
I don't think she's actually in a hot spring. I think it's the city name.
No, there are actual hot springs in Hot Springs National Park.
Now we need to ask if Hollis is actually in a hot spring. I don't think she can spin.
Probably
it's
not.
a rest day, though. She doesn't need to be spinning.
Probably not actively in a hot spring at this moment.
Okay. Cornwall Crafter / Eve says, squash is fruit juice, non-alcoholic, not a vegetable. Oh, gosh.
What?
Now you're just speaking a different English language. Like, that's just confusing to all of us here.
It's a vegetable, a sport, and a type of juice?
Yeah, no, it's nectar.
Okay.
It's fruit nectar.
It's like an onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're going to create a descriptive name for something... I mean,
nectar is not a great descriptive term for types of fruit juices that contain pulp.
Right.
So...
Well, so yeah, now we need to, get further clarification. Does it contain pulp, or does it not? Is it nectar,
I'm guessing,
or is it
I would guess it is more like a nectar, and it contains pulp.
From the name, it sounds pretty squishy, right?
Yeah. There's no filtering in a squash.
Actually, a spinning-related question. Emily Witt says, what wheels are you spinning on? What fibers are you working on? Would you like to go first?
I am spinning on my Louette S10C, which is set up as flyer lead. And I am spinning one of my hand-carded bats from my Tour de Fleece project. So I made myself 24 ounces of bats that look kind of like this. They're all kind of made on the same general recipe, but they differ a little bit. And they are being spun 1 ounce at a time randomly. And then I'll make a 3-ply yarn of it and have a sweater quantity to put in the stash, because I'm almost out of sweater quantities in the stash.
And I'm spinning on a Magicraft wheel that I forget what it's called.
It's a Suzy Pro Alpaca.
There we go. And I always forget. I know it has something to do with alpaca because it has a picture of...
An animal that does not quite look like an alpaca.
Well, I was going to say, it has a picture of the Loch Ness Monster on it, which is supposed to be an alpaca. So we call it Nessie.
Yeah.
That's what I always think about. It's a wonderful wheel. I absolutely love it. It is my second wheel, actually. You
You get
Yeah.
all the best hand-me-downs.
I do get the best hand-me-downs. I am a younger sibling, both in the household and growing up. And then what I am spinning is literally a hand-carded bat that Jill threw at me and said, "Spin this. Tell me if it spins nicely."
And does it?
It does. It's the thinnest. I apologize for those that saw this last time, but I'll repeat myself a little bit. It is the spinnest thinning. Wow, thinnest spinning that I've ever been able to do, and it has really helped emphasize this concept in my mind of the fiber speaks to you of what it wants to spin. I am literally doing dental floss type spinning with this, and I've never ever been able to do this with any other fiber. Even when I spun cotton, was never this thin. So nice job.
You're welcome.
Cornwall Crafter / Eve says, if you want an IKEA looking wheel, look at the Woolmaker's Bliss.
Oh, yeah. Sam has one of those. Or Sam did have one of those.
Does it look very IKEA-esque?
Yeah, it's white. Like, it has white melamine.
Okay.
And it's laminated wood.
Yeah.
And it's actually built by the Louette factory. So it's not too very different than the Louette's, except it doesn't have as many options, and it has the white melamine instead of a wood.
Louette's look vaguely IKEA-esque as well.
Yes.
I will say.
Which is why it's unfortunate that they don't seem to mesh well with IKEA furniture.
But the whole point of the IKEA spinning wheel challenge now is to actually be able to purchase the parts from IKEA. So, and I think I'll take the liberty of what I did for repairing our table. So, we had a table, outdoor table. One of the planks broke, and of course, because it's IKEA, you can't. Normally, I would imagine that you'd be able to get replacement planks, but it was during COVID. It was also a very, very old table, so we didn't go to IKEA to check or ask. So I ended up figuring, okay, well, I'll just get a plank and plane it to the right size and cut it to the right size and everything. It'll be great. Well, it just so happened that we got a big IKEA order to do some preparations for kitchen renovation, and it came on a pallet. So I took the plank from the pallet and planed that. And so because the pallet had IKEA stamped on it, I get to say that I replaced the part with an official IKEA
part.
IKEA pieces, right? By the way, Eve also clarifies that it is squash is no pulp. It is concentrated juice you add water to. Now, this is just all wrong. But it is a new word for describing a different type of juice.
Yeah.
So it's juice concentrate. It's like what you get in the freezer section.
Yeah, we get it frozen in cans.
Get it frozen in, well, they're not really cans. They're like paper can
They're
things,
like paper cylinders with metal lids.
Yeah.
And a little round plastic thing. Most of my orange juice growing up was from such things. But usually it's orange juice, grape juice.
Apple juice.
Maybe cranberry juice, apple juice.
I've had apple juice like that. I'm going to go ahead and lean back a little bit too.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, the grape juice, or not grape juice, well, grape juice concentrate too, but I have fond memories of drinking the apple juice concentrate without diluting it with water.
And this is why you should not get upset with what our kids eat and drink.
Not upset with them. Just giving them well-worn information about how it's a bad idea and why. That's for another story. All right. Hollis says, the entire town is within the national park. Yes, there are hot springs you may visit and enjoy. My home is spring-free, except for tensioning my flyers. Different types of spring there.
Yes.
I like it. And Cornwall Crafter / Eve says she sent me a photo on Instagram. All right, now we're getting real with our bimodal communication.
Yeah.
All right, where do I have Instagram? I have not used Instagram in forever.
I should probably change a hook or something.
I don't remember how to see things on Instagram.
Top right,
Top right.
the paper airplane.
There we go. Okay. Here we go.
Haha.
Interesting. Okay. Bursting with over 30% fruit juice. Ribena. Black currant. All right, there you go, people.
Well, now we've learned something.
Looks tasty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Reasons why you should always visit a grocery store when you go to other countries.
Yeah, right? Also visit a McDonald's when you go to other countries. Not because McDonald's is good, but because McDonald's has very interesting, different interpretations of other cultures. They're all wrong, but they're all very different. Like the teriyaki McBurger. I remember going to Japan.
This just feels like
once.
American culture.
No, it's weird. No, but the teriyaki McBurger is like, let's take a really tasteless, thin hamburger and put teriyaki sauce on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fascinating because it's like, how do I encapsulate a different culture through the bastardized lens of an American viewpoint?
Yeah. Well, it's like grocery stores in other countries sometimes have yarn.
That doesn't seem wrong at all.
And I bought a cocktail shaker at a grocery store, which is not a normal thing here.
It is at Wegmans. Are we going to have another gushing session about Wegmans? We've done this before, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Wegmans is amazing.
We need to go up to Erie.
Hollis Anstrov says, my first wheel was a Louette S10. Had challenges treadling 2, sold it and bought a Magicraft. Ha! So it's like going from left to right here. Yeah. There we go. Which Magicraft did you buy?
Because we have the CC Pro and Alpaca, and then I have an Aura.
Yeah.
And the Aura is what I spend most of the time on.
Now, I have not spun on your Aura because it's never been not having a project. You seem to love it.
Yeah.
But what's the difference in your opinion?
Well, it has a different drive system.
Okay.
So yours is a flyer led wheel. The Aura is kind of like it's almost like double drive. But instead of having like a single figure 8 slippy drive band, like you do with double drive, it has 2 separate bands. One is a grippy poly band that drives the flyer. And then you have another drive band which is slippy, which drives the bobbin. And the bobbin pulley is always bigger is mostly bigger than the flyer. So there's differential rotation.
Yeah.
So it can wind on and put twist in. But it means that you can kind of control the uptake a little bit more than you would with double drive. It definitely has stronger uptake, so you can actually use it for like art yarns and kind of fatter stuff. So I like double drive and similar systems on my wheels, and so that's always what I primarily spin on, because it's just, for me, it's more a consistent twist. And I've written articles about why that's so, and there's physics involved. And
so I'm going to interrupt you for a second and jump around a little bit on the questions, and I will get to all of them. But Cornwall Crafter / Eve asks, does the Aura come with the overdrive head, or did you buy it separately?
I bought it separately. I actually bought my overdrive head when I just was on the Suzy. And they are kind of cross-compatible. though my overdrive head was designed for use on a Susie, but it works on my Aura just fine. And I usually just bring out the overdrive head when I'm spinning core spun.
What's the overdrive?
It's the huge one.
Okay, yeah, that's the large.
I don't have the bobbins down here, but each bobbin, the ends are about this big.
Yeah. See, when I think overdrive, I think like it spins faster, not it's just bigger.
It's huge.
Yeah. Okay. Cornwall Crafter / Eve also says that she has a Magicraft Rose. She bought it because she wanted higher ratios because she treadles slowly, and then found she naturally treadles faster on it, so she doesn't need the ratios.
Yeah. So that's been something that's been interesting to me. Is I remember when I was a baby spinner being so worried about ratios, and I picked my first wheels because I wanted fast ratios. And then when I moved to some other wheels, I realized that ratio doesn't really tell you how fast that wheel is going to put twist into things. The same ratio on different wheels will give you different amounts of twist depending on the drive system. So bobbin lead is the most efficient at putting twist in. And then double drive is a close second. But flyer lead wheels aren't as efficient because you're breaking the bobbin. And so like I got a Louette S17, which is a bobbin lead, and like its top ratio is like 10-1, but without going to the high-speed bobbins, it can go faster, but standard is 10-1 is the fastest you can do. And I could spin the same yarns that I was spinning on my Ladybug with a 17-1 ratio.
Wow.
Like, I could do my default at a much lower ratio. And that's the same thing with the Louette. And some of it has to do with how big your drive wheel is. And also how easy it is to treadle. So, like, I naturally treadle faster on my Louette and my Magicraft than I do on the Shacked. Because the Shacked has a little bit more... it requires a little bit more force to treadle.
Is that because of the bigger wheel, or?
It's because of how the footman connections and the treadles themselves. It's small mechanics differences.
By the way, Hollis noted that her Magicraft is a Susie and then an Aura.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also have a high-speed head that'll go on the Susie. It won't go on the Aura, but it will go on the Susie, which basically turns the Susie into a accelerated wheel.
And what's an accelerated wheel?
Accelerated wheel, you have your big drive wheel, and that powers a smaller drive wheel, and then that has a band on it to then power your flyer.
Gear ratios. Yay.
Yes. So that's really nice for like spinning cotton and short stapled stuff. I don't pull it out that often because I have lots of wheels that can spin really fast.
Also, I'm on this wheel.
And you're on that wheel. And usually now when I'm going very fast, I use my flat iron. My flat iron's my preferred wheel for spinning short stapled fibers. And I totally hack my flat iron. I run it with an air braked bobbin lead system. So I just put the drive band directly onto the bobbin, and I use high speed bobbins, and then there's no brake on it. So air is enough to break it, and that's how I spin on my flat iron. And that's how I spin cotton on a wheel.
I feel like we need to get a video.
It's super fast. I need to explain it. I've explained it a little bit before, but I need to like do a specific video to explain this. Because it's a really great system, and I tried it after learning that the very fast flyer setup on the Lindrum Saxony is an air-braked bobbin lead system. So after learning that, I was like, oh, you can do that? And I tried it out on the flat iron, and it works.
I feel like when you say air braked, I feel like you need to have like actual air fins to
No, I do it on my Aura too.
provide different drag.
When I want very little take up, I take the bobbin band off of the Aura. And there's enough like momentum that comes from the bobbin resting on the flyer shaft that you get enough differential, and it lightens the take up.
So speaking of take up, Cornwall Crafter /Eve says, do you find the bobbin lead wheels have a high draw in it? I set up my minstrel in bobbin lead and it pulled like a train.
Yes. So what I found with the bobbin lead is as you go to a higher ratio, the take up increases. So really spin at the lowest ratio that you can still get the twist that you want. Sorry. Cross-lacing helps, but also lubrication is your friend. Because every little bit of lubrication between the flyer shaft and the bobbin and the flyer shaft and the maidens increases your take up.
I mean, every bit of friction.
Every bit of friction, yeah. So if you're not well lubed, you're going to have a lot of take up.
Be careful about having to put an NSFW marking on this podcast.
So, like, when I spin on my S17, I always make sure the front maiden, there's like a little divot in the brass, and I always make sure that's full of oil. And you have to replenish it pretty frequently. And I always make sure I make sure my flyer shaft is well lubricated as well. And I can tell my take up will increase as I've been spinning because friction is starting to
use up the oil.
Yeah, to use up the oil.
All right.
And generally, if you're ever having even wheels that generally don't need oil, like the Magicrafts aren't usually recommended to do a bunch of oiling, but anytime you're having take-up issues where it's taking up too much, always make sure everything is well lubed, especially your flyer shaft, because that the point between the where the bobbin contacts the flyer shaft will change your take-up.
Yeah, all of us that are doing all bobbin lead, we never think about needing to oil that shaft because, well...
You mean flyer lead?
Flyer lead, yes, sorry. Yes. All of us that are doing flyer lead, we don't think about oiling the shaft because, well, you want to have more friction.
You want to have some friction. Right? But if you're spinning really, stuff where you want really light take up, make sure you oil your shaft.
Not going to touch it.
Just walk away, Nick.
Just walk away. All right, somebody needs to save me. Let's see. So, I know we talked about Odin.
Yes.
And those other ones, but did you ever talk about, I can't remember the names of the fibers, but the ones where Hail Satin is one of, where it's this weird new sheep that I hadn't heard of before.
The Southdown Dorset horn?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the news, the story. Let's go into stories. So my friend Ken of Homestead Hobbyist designed a fiber blend of Southdown wool, Dorset horn wool, and mulberry silk. And, as a sock blend. And when he moved cross country and was kind of shutting down, dying, he stopped by on his way on his cross country trip and dropped off some of his leftover blends. And one of them was the Southdown Dorset mulberry silk. So I dyed up some of that and I liked it, but I've been down the nylon free sock yarn rabbit hole, and long term I haven't liked silk because it gets crunchy and it loses elasticity. So I was looking for, I liked the combination of the Southdown and the Dorset because I've spun Southdown just by itself or Southdown with silk, and it's a bit crunchy. And the Dorset helps soften it up and make it feel more woolly. So Southdown and Dorset are both down type wools, so they're naturally felt resistant, which makes them really good for sock yarns. And then, so I was looking for an alternative for the silk, and the mill that makes my blends came out with this, what they call bio nylon. And what it is it's a more environmentally friendly, biodegradable nylon. So it won't be on the planet for hundreds of years. You know, it might be around for the length of your socks before it starts to break down. So I made a blend with those. So it's 40, 40, 20. It's a natural light gray because I used some black nylon. And I dyed up all of the first batch that I got. So what I have right now is all that I've got, and I'll order more soon, but it's actually really nice. It's drafts really nicely. It spins up a lot like buoy, which means it usually goes pretty fast. My assistant has been spinning up a ton of it. And has even made socks from it.
And the socks wear okay?
The socks are good.
All right. Machine washable?
I haven't double tested, but it should be.
Okay.
You know, gentle and, you know, lay flat to dry. But it won't be the end of the world if they
accidentally end up in the wash.
Accidentally end up in the wash. I've had Southdown and silk hand spun socks, and I put them through the machine every time, and they do just fine. They haven't, you know, they might actually be wearing better than like superwash merino.
All right. So there was a question from Cornwall Crafter / Eve of, could you explain more about the bio nylon? But that was before you explained about the bio nylon.
Yeah. So bio nylon, it's also an Ecotex 100 certified fiber, which is something I look for in anything that might be a little bit, you know, more on the commercially processed side of things. So Ecotex 100 means it meets a whole bunch of criteria for environmental friendliness, hypoallergenic, fair labor practices. So it's textiles you can feel good about.
I don't know if you can maintain that fair labor practices because you keep on beating yourself up about it. You are not giving yourself fair labor practices.
I'm treated better than textile laborers in much of the world.
This is true. But let's see. Oh, there's another question from Eve, which is, I don't know if it's just my machine front loader, but all my woolen items go through a wool wash cycle just fine.
Well, lucky you.
We have a front loader.
We have a front loader. It's more of the dryer has done damage.
Okay, I do have a complaint about this fiber now.
What?
It's just today I've broken like 3 times because I've gotten way too clean.
That sounds like operator error.
Sounds like a me problem.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of our felting in the wash stories come from the things being put into
the dryer. Yeah.
the dryer with any amount of heat.
Well, it's water plus heat plus friction.
Yeah.
Is the part. So if you wash your stuff on
Yeah, but you can.
cold,
Yeah,
then-
we generally wash on cold, and it's hard to felt on purpose in a front loader.
Okay.
But I do have a little sample that I need to knit into a swatch and throw into our wash to see if it shrinks at all. I don't think it will.
Okay. I was going to ask about something and I completely forgot what it was in my third attempt at making sure that my my spinning went okay. It'll come back to me. Do you remember some of the colorways that you've dyed up?
What's currently left in the shop, there's there's, I think, some decommissioned, which those are both pretty new colorways. I'm here, and maybe some left of Not One of the Cool Kids.
No more Hail Satin?
I think the last one of Hail Satin just got sold. There might be one left. I'm not sure, but I am trying. I this weekend I started up dyeing again, so I'm trying to fill up the shelves with hand-dyed fiber again. But right now it's all Poetessa flax. So, and if I should be able to get what is in the dye pots now ready by Friday. So, and I dyed strawberry rhubarb on Bowie, and I'm here on Bowie, and I'm here on Tweed. I think those three colorways are what I got done over the
You
weekend.
haven't really done colorways on Bowie before.
I'm starting to.
Yeah.
Because, the dyed in the wool stuff isn't around anymore. And I just got a new shipment of Bowie bone fiber for dyeing, so I'm going to be replenishing that because people want it.
Good. And 2 questions from Eve now. Is your Southdown and Dorset from the UK?
Yes.
And how do you come up with your colorway names? It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. A lot of it now is I actually keep a list of things that would make good colorway names. So a lot of it is things that either from different things that pop up in my life, phrases from a show I'm watching, or music, or sometimes things are derivatives of ideas. So Hail Satin is a derivative of Nick and I were having a conversation, and we were making a joke of, instead of Secret Santa, you have Secret Satan. And I was like, well, I can't, I don't want to have a colorway name that has Satan. But in it, so let's derive something from that. And I was telling my assistant about it, and she was like, oh, well, Hail Satin. Which is actually a phrase that's on the bathroom in Studio 84 in the Netflix Halston show, which is what we were watching at the time. Going
down the rabbit hole here, folks.
So, well got its name because it is a colorway that's derivative from my colorway called Gravity. And we often complain about gravity wells in our household, which are the place where things drop.
Which our household isn't in one big gravity well. Gravity seems to be much higher, especially around the younger children.
Yes. And like decommissioned is a variegated version of the colors that go into Captain.
So I think one of my favorite colorway names that you've made was marriage counseling.
Yes.
Because the very first original one was Jill wasn't very happy with me at one point in time for something that we don't remember at all, but and she went off and decided to go do some dyeing.
Yeah, I think you were trying to tell me how to do things a certain way, and I did not agree.
Thank you for accusing me of mansplaining.
No, it wasn't mansplaining. It was you have ways of doing things and I have ways of doing things.
That's fair. So anyway, Jill went off to go and just dye some fiber, and it made her feel a lot better because she created something beautiful, and she was like, "All right, this is my own version of marriage counseling."
But then I didn't write it down, so I tried to recreate it, and I made it a little bit darker, and that became advanced marriage counseling.
And now I get really worried every time she goes into the studio and dyes some marriage counseling, because I'm not sure if it's because it's for an order or because I did something wrong.
Yeah, but I'm going to dye advanced marriage counseling for the first time on Fiverr tomorrow.
And I didn't do anything wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong. It was just on the list.
And then there's the theme sets, where you come up with a general theme. The unicorns is definitely one of those. Where you want to do some sparkles and various...
it has to be related to unicorns.
Various things related to unicorns, like there is a clear My Little Pony reference. There is a something called Space Unicorn, which is a reference to a Perry Grip song, where the video is absolutely wonderful. And
there's a couple Perry Grip colorways.
Oh, that's right.
Neon Pegasus is also Perry Grip.
That's also a great song. Look at both of those on YouTube if you wanna smile. And then the mythological ones that you're doing now, I think originally stemmed because our eldest child got the entire family into the Percy Jackson book series, and that has thus exploded further into other mythological fandoms, let's say.
So, but a lot of times, sometimes the colorway name drives the creation. Sometimes I create something and then I need to name it. And then I go through my long list of, well, these are things that would be good names. And try to match them up.
I feel like we should find some of the ones that will never, ever find a colorway. But
yeah, there are some things that I don't think people would buy if I put that colorway name on something. You would really have to get my humor. And I really like plays on words and just words that together are amusing. Not necessarily because what it's describing is actually something amusing.
So, Jan Johnston just asked, any hints of things to come for SSK this weekend?
So...
You got some new things going up, right?
I've got some new things going up. So there will be some fresh hand-dyed fiber. There's a couple new blends. I'm actually debating whether or not to do a bat live sale on Saturday.
Well, we're gonna do something on Saturday.
We're gonna do something on Saturday.
We uploaded the video and said we're gonna do something. What was it? 1 to 3 p.m.
Yeah, we're gonna
Eastern?
be live on Saturday.
You're gonna be live. I'm gonna be taking.
I'm gonna be
kids.
live. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do at that time. But I might do a bat live sale. Because I've got a bunch of bats.
Eek eek.
And who knows? I'm full of surprises.
So, Cornwall Crafter, by the way, has noted, Eve, that she's still waiting for Pittsburgh Bus on Fiber, which you've done.
I have.
And only for
so
volunteers.
So the colorway is Sinkhole.
Only for volunteers at Indie Knit and Spin previously.
Yeah, I haven't. So Sinkhole is the colorway that commemorates the Pittsburgh bus in the sinkhole.
You should tell the full story. It was the week before Christmas.
It was the week, was like a couple weeks before Christmas, and the greatest present to indie makers everywhere was the news that a sinkhole opened in a downtown road in Pittsburgh and swallowed a Pittsburgh Port Authority bus.
And it wasn't completely swallowed. It was like sitting up at this wonderful jaunty angle.
Yeah, they had to get a crane.
Got hurt.
It was a mostly empty bus. Nobody got hurt. They had to get a crane to lift the bus out of the sinkhole. The road was closed for like 6 months.
Did we get another sinkhole this year?
Yes, there have been more sinkholes. But there is a colorway called Sinkhole. There is some sock yarn in Sinkhole, still in the shop. I have dyed it on fiber. It's a colorway that is not the most fun thing to dye on fiber because it requires a bunch of manipulation in the dyeing process. So I only dye it on superwash fiber. And it's still a pain in the butt because I have to manipulate the fiber during the dyeing process, which hot water, moving things around, not fun.
I can see where the Freudian slip of fire.
Yeah. But if people ask me nicely, maybe I'll dye some up. I think I've dyed up all the superwash Targhee, but I do have a bunch of some superwash domestic wool that should handle the amount of manipulation. Because I don't hand paint my fiber because I think hand painting is too much fiber manipulation. So all of my methods are varying levels of immersion dyeing.
And you want to avoid the fiber manipulation because then you get some felting and it's
felting and
not good to draft and everything.
Right. So making sure you guys have a quality spinning experience is goal number 1 of how I dye.
And
being clever with color is second.
Keep that in mind for when you find some new fiber that you're trying out and you're like, oh, this is really tough to draft. It might not be the fiber. It might have been the dyer.
Yeah.
So definitely,
I thought BFL was awful, which I thought was weird because everybody said, oh, BFL's great for beginners. But the first BFL I got had been sitting in a shop for too long and two-handled and compacted and a little bit felted, and so it was really hard to spin. And then like years later, a friend gave me some BFL, hand-dyed BFL to try out, and it was lovely.
Yeah, so know your fiber and your dyer because both can have a strong impact on what you're doing. We got a couple more comments. Jan Johnson has noted it's good to know what we said about what's coming up for SSK. Granny Vicky says she loves your crown. Hollis is asking, did you ever dye rosy bouquet on cotton?
Oh, yes. I know what she's talking about. I actually haven't. It's still on my list of things to do. I have I am woefully behind on my cotton dyeing. I've been doing the Cotton Club for a couple years, and that makes sure I dye 2 colorways every 2 months. And that's kind of been where I've been. And then that stuff's
That's your limit?
that's exclusive to the shop for a year, so I release it after a year. And that's kind of been how there's been any hand-dyed cotton in the shop for like the last year. But I set cotton to soak today, which we'll cover the August hand dye. But I have been dividing up cotton, and I do intend to dye more cotton and a lot of the colorways that have come out of the club, as well as some other ideas for colorways.
Now that you've taken up the entirety of the garage, it's a lot easier for you to get a bunch of dyeing done, right?
Yeah, it's just I'm still catching up with everything associated with all the curveballs that COVID threw at the business over the past 18 months. And I'm finally getting my footing. And of course, now that I'm starting to get my footing, now I have to deal with shows coming back. So.
Yeah, but you've done that before.
Yeah.
We'll fall flat on our face. I mean, no, we'll handle that. That's
what I know, but say, right? What I dye, the workload for show prep is very different than running what I need to do to keep the online shops running.
Yeah. Speaking of shows, what's the next show we're doing in person?
So in person, there will be Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival at the end of September. We just got confirmed for that. We will be in our usual spot outside.
Right across from the
popcorn
from the food, and
the wine,
and teas, and
the
ever-changing other foods.
Yes, and then we will have Indie Knit and Spin.
It's a Vietnamese place last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indie Knit and Spin in Pittsburgh 2 weeks later on October 9th. And those are our in-persons for this year. And then we'll be at Flyaway next April.
So Eve has a question which I was going to ask as well, so we can both ask it together, which is,
oh gosh,
if Southbound/Dorset doesn't felt easily, would you try Sinkhole on that?
I will when I get more of that basin.
Awesome. And she also asks, where can we find your SSK? Will Nick be in his T-Rex outfit?
Oh, maybe I need to watch the kids for a little bit of time. Or there can be special appearances from the other T-Rexes.
We can have multiple T-Rexes down here. We've got to clear up a little bit of space. But yeah, so the video is going, the live stream is going to be on here, on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, live stream will be here, 1 to 3, Saturday. And they'll be posting vendor videos later this week, and there will be a scavenger hunt for words in those vendor videos that are open to everybody. And you can get prizes.
Yeah. And the SSK prizes are always awesome. So if you've never been to SSK, like...
I think I offered up a gift certificate. So.
I've won like 2 or 3 things from SSK, which Jill promptly stole. So that tells you how awesome they were. There are things I
haven't stolen.
I don't even remember what ones those were.
You have some project bags that I did not steal. I only stole the Acrowork stuff.
But yeah, definitely check out the video. Check out the video of the other SSK vendors, because there's some
all awesome,
really amazing vendors there. They're not only great products, but great people. Man, I am struggling with this last little bit in my hand.
And all of your indie vendors could use a little love during the summer.
Yeah, because nobody's doing any fibery stuff in the summer.
Yeah. But it's perfect timing if you've been doing Tour de Fleece and, you know, if you're feeling good about the size of your stash at the end of this week.
To start not feeling good about the size of your stash and buy more.
You can reward yourself
Oh,
by
wait,
buying
yes.
new things that bring you joy.
Yes, yes. And we can always fall back on the thing that I've always said. You know what? Spinning is the only hobby that you can reduce your electricity bill by having more of the supplies, because if you store it all on the outer wall of your house, it's added installation. So you're saving money
So when do
by
I?
increasing your stash.
So when do I get to take over the attic?
You can take over the attic whenever you want. That's a brilliant
The
idea.
thing is, though, is I'm scared of getting into our attic. So, and it's a whole to do to get into our attic.
Yeah, well, it was your idea, not mine. All right, I finished my little
What?
bit of fiber.
I'm impressed. I was much more productive last week.
Yeah. And we have been going for an hour.
Well, let me finish my bit.
You'll finish your bit? Okay.
You be entertaining. I've been talking to people. That's probably why I've been slow.
I've been entertaining too.
You're always entertaining.
Oh, thank you. You're always entertaining
That's
too.
why I've kept you around for 16 years.
Okay.
You're entertaining. Don't stop being entertaining.
Okay. I'm trying to swallow so that I don't choke.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, you got me all choked up.
I didn't know it meant that much to you.
It does. I live to entertain, especially you. We're going down some weird rabbit hole. Let's see. So, what else can we talk about? I can look at my my spinning and see how consistent it is. Still pretty consistent.
You happy?
Yeah,
Do you need a control card?
I do.
Playback sample?
It would have been great if I had a playback sample to start off with at the beginning. But, you know.
I should have given you one of our bicycles.
It would have been great for commemorating the Tour de Fleece.
Yeah.
Except I started this before we were even thinking about doing Tour de Fleece. Yeah.
Before the bicycles existed.
I have broken my slow knitter problem. I've not broken my slow spinner problem. Thank you. I was going to steal it, but then I thought that might look aggressive. I now feel like a pretty princess.
I'm so glad. You deserve to feel like a pretty princess.
Thank you. Eve is asking if it's time for dad joke. I will tell a dad story, if I can make it last long enough. So, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I was talking with Gab, and she was really angry at something. Let's just say she was angry at bananas. And I was like, "Why are you angry at bananas, Gab?" And they said, "I don't know. I'm just really mad at them." I'm like, you know, you had the perfect opportunity to say that, like, they did something terrible, like the bananas killed your mother. And Gab said, "But mom's in the garage right now." I'm like, "Yeah, she's dying." She actually was dying.
Nick really enjoys the dying jokes.
Yeah. I even I get a little bit sick of myself when when you say, "I'm gonna go die," and I have to reflexively say, "Don't die. I love you." So yeah. I'm afraid for the calendar, its days are numbered. I don't even remember what that's in reference to. Eve said something that I'm afraid for the calendar, its days are numbered.
I don't know.
Did I say something about the calendar?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a dad joke.
Oh!
Yeah. That's a good one too. I like that. Lots of dying jokes here.
Yeah.
At one point in time, I made a little bit of artwork for you Star Trek fans. Yes, I do enjoy Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Wars a little more, but I do enjoy Star Trek as well. Um, for those of you that are familiar with Next Generation, Lieutenant Worf, I had a little cartoony picture of him with a rainbow version of his sash, and it said, "Today is a good day to die," but
With a Y.
Die spelled with a Y. So Eve now is saying, I remember the first time I told my mom I was dying. I was dying fiber, but she thought I was sick. Yeah. No, it is just an infinite wealth of wonderful misunderstandings and amazing eye roll jokes. It just never gets old. So I greatly appreciate the side of me that is just full of dad jokes. Greatly appreciates your choice of profession because I will always be satisfied. Any other good good dying comments?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to finish spinning.
Enjoy it. Don't.
But the wheel is getting, like, a duck walked into it.
What?
It's getting noisy.
A duck walked into it, and so that's why it's quacking.
It's quacking. The wheel is quacking.
The wheel is quacking a little bit, but
it probably needs lube.
back on the lube.
Yep.
Yeah. Incidentally, since you're on a rest day, it's a good day to think about wheel maintenance. So get your lube. Make sure that your belts are okay and all that stuff.
Sometimes there's screws that need to be tightened.
Yep.
My ladybug made an awful sound and was super wobbly and was
Oh yeah, it was vibrating.
It was vibrating, and it ended up being a loose screw and a loose wedge.
Yeah. It was a really simple fix, and it made you were about to get rid of that wheel.
Oh, yeah, I was about to get rid of it.
And literally just tighten up a screw. So definitely take a look at your wheels. Give them some love. They are serving you well. You need to serve them well.
And remember that they are machines, and all machines require maintenance.
Preventative maintenance. That's the in my manufacturing time, learning the term preventative maintenance, so that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for it to break down before you give it some love.
I'm so close. Don't you have another dad joke?
Oh God, the pressure. No, I don't. I've only been preparing one at a time. Oh my God, what could I do? I can look it up, but people don't. I always feel bad looking one up because I'm like, all right, hold on a second. Let me stare at my phone for like 5 minutes and then laugh, and then I'll tell you a joke. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try to continue to be entertaining, and also stare at you. Make you self-conscious about how slow or fast or medium you're being. I'll give you your crown back. I'm sorry. There you go. Then you can be the princess.
Queen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm the princess. You're the queen.
Oh, gracious mother.
Oh, gracious mother. Yes. I don't know how you convinced our children to do it.
It was one of my highlights as a mother.
But now when our children...
I asked for it for Mother's Day.
That's right. That's right. But they listened, which is the impressive part.
They listened. They've been listening to me, kind of.
They have also... So whenever they're particularly appreciative of something or
they really want something.
It is "Oh Gracious Mother," and I have gotten once or twice in "Oh Gracious Father." So, yeah, no, we must be doing something.
They know
right.
where their bread is buttered. There we go.
All right, so I will close what we're doing here with Eve's comment, which is, if I take one thing away from this live stream, it's lube your shaft, and it might need a good screwing. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We have no more rest days, but now that we've
But
done,
you can see us again on Saturday, or at least me.
that's right. You can see and maybe some guest appearances, and now that we've gotten into this routine, we've done 3 videos in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe we can actually get back to doing this. So, thanks again, and have a good night.
Good rest of the tour.
The button's not working. Bye.
Bye.